Kryptonians are some of the most powerful beings in the DC universe, and with the Flash, we got to see a whole bunch of these different Kryptonians in action, some rather surprising ones too. And today, we're going to take a look at all the different Kryptonians, all the different Supergirls, all the different Supermen that we've seen in the DCEU, and rank them all from weakest to strongest. So let's get to it. Also, spoilers ahead for The Flash. What's up guys, I'm Daniel and this is DanCo. We do fight breakdowns every week, plus the occasional power ranking video like this one or things like that. So if that seems interesting to you, well, sit back and enjoy the video. Hit that like button. And if you want to, well, hit the subscribe button while you're at it. Now let's get to it. The Kryptonian Law Council, otherwise known as the Council of Five, was the ruling council for the planet of Krypton. They were never exposed to the yellow sun, so they never gained any of the remarkable powers that Kryptonians are known for. They were stupid enough and pompous enough to have both General Zod and Jor-El hate them. Plus, they had a planet explode under their watch. Not the best look. Jax is an evil scientist and a member of Zod's extremists, but he's also like the only one who didn't end up getting exposed to the yellow sun. So yeah, no powers for him. But he was very smart. He was the one who figured out that Kal's DNA and cells had completely fused with the Kryptonian growth codex, and the one who quickly diagnosed how Superman's powers worked on Earth. Lara Lorvan is Clark Kent's biological mother, and even though she never made it off Krypton and gained incredible powers, it's still pretty remarkable that she was able to go against all of Krypton and the High Council, ditching the Genesis chambers like every other Kryptonian and having the first natural birth in centuries. And then immediately after that, she took her newborn son and sent him off to Earth, so a remarkably strong woman. Jor-El is Superman's father, the most respected scientist on the planet Krypton, and the foremost member of the Kryptonian Thinkers Guild, as well as being the patriarch of the House of El. He came to odds with General Zod over the fate of Krypton and its people, and it was Jor-El who led to the birth of Superman. Despite being a member of the Thinkers Guild, Jor-El proved himself to be an extremely skilled and fierce fighter, exceptionally accomplished in several different forms of Kryptonian martial arts, and able to beat down some of the most elite warriors in the Warriors Guild and even beat General Zod himself. But no powers, so this is about as high on the list as he can go. Kara Zor-El, aka Supergirl, is the cousin of Superman from Argo City, and even though this version of Supergirl was in the DCEU for like a grand total of 2 seconds, she makes the list. This version of the character is from the Donnerverse, star of the movie Supergirl, and has every power that Kryptonians develop on Earth. Superhuman strength, speed, durability, she can fly, shoot laser vision, the whole 9 yards. Stronger than a locomotive, can bend steel in her arms, leap tall buildings in a single bound. You know the gist. But this Supergirl was also never really pushed in a fight, and is definitely the weakest Kryptonian who actually has powers. It's funny that this Superman got maybe a 15-second fight scene, and I already think he's more powerful than Supergirl, who had her own full movie. This version of Superman comes from the failed movie Superman Lives, starring Nicolas Cage, written by Kevin Smith, and at one point set to be directed by Tim Burton. Superman would battle against the AI supervillain Brainiac. He would lose his powers for a good part of the movie, then at the end would fight against a massive robotic spider. The movie never really got off the ground, but here we finally got to see Nick Cage don the mantle and fight that gigantic spider. Kara Zor-El, also known as Supergirl, was the cousin of Kal-El, who was sent to Earth after the destruction of Krypton, only to be captured by the Soviet Union. She was kept in an old Russian base in Siberia, eventually being saved by the Flash, another Flash, and Batman. After recovering her powers, Kara decided to confront General Zod alone, only to see how the Kryptonian army slaughtered innocent soldiers. So she allied with the Flash, and Batman in order to fight Zod and his army, forming a makeshift Justice League. Supergirl's powers varied throughout the movie, mostly because it looked like she couldn't absorb a ton of yellow sun radiation for long, or ran through her power reserves very quickly. But still, Supergirl was able to hold her own and fight against General Zod, a version of Zod that was arguably amped and more powerful than the General Zod that Superman originally fought in Man of Steel. Namek is a Kryptonian war criminal and a member of the Sword of Ro, as well as the strongest soldier that General Zod had to offer, especially since Namek is a Kryptonian hybrid, as he was crossbred with a Kryptonian cow. Together with Zod, Namek attempted to re-establish Krypton on Earth by bringing about a terraformation apocalypse, but was ultimately beaten by Superman. Now, Namek might have the strength and power of a god, but he never mastered any of the other powers that Kryptonians are known for: freeze breath, heat vision, flight, things like that. But he is still really dang powerful. He can completely wreck Superman and take some devastating attacks from Superman in return. But his durability still has its limits. And he's also definitely not the smartest fighter. Even Batman could get the drop on him. Sub-Commander Faora Ul is an infamous Kryptonian war criminal and second in command of the Sword of Ro, serving as the loyal right hand to General Zod. And together with Zod, Faora attempted to re-establish Krypton by bringing about a terraformation apocalypse, only to be ultimately defeated and sucked into a singularity, sending her back into the Phantom Zone. Faora is easily the most skilled fighter out of all the Kryptonians, even surpassing General Zod and Jor-El in skill. With a combination of her incredible skill, her bloodlust, and her powers, well, Faora is a ruthless and fierce fighter and killer, able to even beat up on Superman. However, one thing that the Flash did show us is that even though Faora is a deadly villain, there's still a pretty clear gap between her and Namek and other Kryptonians like Superman and Zod. General Drew Zod was a Kryptonian war criminal and the former leader of the Warriors Guild who founded the Sword of Ro and led them during the Kryptonian Civil War. Managing to survive the destruction of Krypton and escaping from his Phantom Zone imprisonment, he viewed the purpose of his life to be the successful re-establishment of Krypton on another planet, and he set his sights on Earth. Zod managed to adapt to Earth and his new powers quicker and more successfully than any other Kryptonian except maybe Superman, meaning that he's basically infinitely strong, tough, and fast. He was able to fight on par with Superman and knock over buildings and level cities with his punches. He could take so many punches from Clark. He was fast enough to even perceive the Flash and counter him, and Zod is such a powerful and ruthless fighter that he killed Supergirl and killed her again and again and would always kill her. She legit could never beat him. The desecration without name, referred to as Superman's Doomsday by his maker, this monster was the corpse of General Zod that was mutated and reanimated by Lex Luthor using his own human genetic sample. This long forbidden ancient process was used for the sole purpose of killing Superman, and it worked. Capable of apocalyptic levels of destruction, Doomsday's power and might required the combined forces of Superman, Wonder Woman, and Batman to take him down, inadvertently forming the Justice League. He was ultimately killed by Superman at the end of their fierce brawl, albeit at the cost of his own life as well. Doomsday is the only known being who's physically stronger than Superman. He could hold his own against both Superman and Wonder Woman at the same time, and is virtually unbeatable, never really getting hurt, able to heal from any injury or adapt to any threat. Doomsday really is the ultimate monster. Born Kal-El of Krypton, Superman was the first natural birth on Krypton in hundreds of years. Sent to Earth by his father Jor-El, Superman would grow up in Kansas and was raised by Martha and Jonathan Kent. Given powers by the Earth's yellow sun and atmosphere, Clark Kent grew up afraid of what others would think of his powers. But he eventually found a Kryptonian scout ship and accidentally allowed General Zod to come to Earth. On his very first day as Superman, Kal had to fight a Kryptonian invasion that cost the lives of thousands. Afterwards, he worked as a force of good in order to protect others, saving the Earth more times than you can count. Superman has been absorbing the yellow solar radiation since he was a baby, making him more powerful than any other Kryptonian we've ever seen. He's fought and beat General Zod and the other Kryptonians. He killed the Kryptonian monster Doomsday. When he came back to life, well, he was able to solo the Justice League and beat Steppenwolf, an ancient new god, beat him with ease. Sent as the last son of a dying planet, he was known as Kal-El. Raised on the humble Kansas farmland, where he discovered his extraordinary powers, he was known as Clark Kent. Garbed in a colorful costume and fighting for justice, the world knew him as Superman. Superman has saved countless lives over the course of his career, and matched wits with the mastermind Lex Luthor and an evil supercomputer. Matched the might of 3 Kryptonian super criminals, Zod, Ursa, and Non. Even managed to defeat the radioactive Nuclear Man. Armed with an array of powers and a charming aw shucks attitude, the world is always safe knowing Superman is on their side. He's powerful enough to move mountains or throw all the nukes in the world into the sun, and he's fast enough to fly all around the Earth and actually rewind time itself. And those are just his typical Kryptonian powers. This Superman can create copies of himself, throw his S to catch enemies. He's even got his super powerful rebuilding the Great Wall of China vision. End of the day, we might have seen this Superman in the DCEU for just a few seconds, but he's definitely the most powerful Kryptonian out there. But what do y'all think? Sound off in the comments down below. I know you're gonna have thoughts and feelings on this one for sure. If you stuck around this long and made it to the end of the video, that's amazing. Thank you so much for watching and for supporting us. And if you want to go subscribe, well, go subscribe. You're going to see more videos like this one every single week. I'll see y'all then. I'll see y'all next time.